Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Wendy Kalergis, President and CEO of the Greater Miami The Beaches Hotel Association, and thank you for joining us today for our series number 8 in a discussion, a live discussion with our experts in innovation updated at our convention centers. We're really excited to have all of you. Thank you all for joining us today. And I gotta tell you that we always do a rehearsal before we start. But today's was the most liveliest rehearsal I've ever seen. I think that we all could have had a glass of wine at the same time, right? So it gives me great pleasure. I'd like to thank our partners at the CVB, Bill Talbert, our President and CEO, for his partnership with the series, as well as Dean Michael Chang from FIU Chapman School of Hospitality Management. We really appreciate all that you're doing for us. So at this time, I'd like to introduce and welcome my dear friend and co-moderator, Sonia Fong, Vice President, Convention Sales for the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Thank you, Wendy. Welcome, everybody. I am so excited to be here co-moderating today's discussion. It's much needed. First of all, I want to thank my boss, Bill Talbert. He's our biggest supporter, and Wendy, of course, for allowing me to be here today, and our amazing panelists. I know you all work hard, and I think it's time for us to get together and have a real conversation. But I also know today, we mentioned that, you know, if it wasn't virtual, we probably wouldn't have attendees from all over. Believe it or not, we have attendees from London, two of our beloved customers from LA, Miami. I know Hema and Sahara logged in as well. Our wonderful colleague friend, Laurie Jens, calling in from California. And a longtime personal friend of mine, I think Angela Ree also logged in, so thank you. I think before I ask the panel to give us update and so on, I personally wanted to let you know what's going on in my world. I'm upfront with all the customer with my team every day, selling Miami, selling the destination, and something that I personally love and all of us love. This week, I have my first in-person real site inspection. I haven't done that in 3 months. So the fact that we're able to do that, that means business is coming back, and as our hotels is slowly reopening, this conversation is much needed. We continue to have daily conversation with our customers. At this time, we do have many larger shows coming in the fall, and knowing what the city is doing to prepare the venue, what are we doing, and in our Convention and Visitors Bureau we have been extremely busy with our sales and marketing efforts. In speaking with the customers, we know that times are challenging. We also are learning from our customer what they're looking for, perhaps, you know, to get some comfort, reassurance to book future business. Therefore, we reach out to all our hotel partners, some of our venues. Two key things that some of our customers would like to have is zero attrition, zero cancellation. And we're talking about smaller, perhaps new business booked in the city. So I want to thank all the hotel partners that logged in today that are going to partner with us. We have overwhelming responses from commitment from a hotel that will work with us to book short-term future business, new one in the year for the year. And the Bureau is also committed to enhance the package with other concessions. So I want to thank everyone, and I think we're ready for our discussion, Wendy.
Thanks, Sonia. That was fabulous. So everyone's getting all excited, right? Just by you doing your first site inspection. That was so cool. So we have the best of the best in our industry today. And thank you, Craig, for traveling to visit us from LA. We're very happy to have you.
Thank you.
And wanted to make sure that we hear from all of them, as we are so excited to learn about the changes that they've had implemented to be ready for the new normal. So at this time, we're going to ask each panelist to introduce yourself and give us an update and share with us the top 3 new things that you're doing for the new normal. Sonia, why don't you start?
Yes, I will go ahead and start with Mr. Michael Hurt.
Thank you, Sonia. My name is Michael Hurd. I'm the Assistant General Manager at the Miami Beach Convention Center. The team is working hard to continue to develop our recovery plan. And we're confident with what we have so far. We submitted our first version of that recovery plan earlier this week. Hopefully everyone received a copy. If you didn't, please let us know and we will send out a copy. But that's our focus. It talks about our fundamental practices, our metrics, as well as our new venue measures. So I encourage everyone to view that document. Thank you.
And our beloved colleague, Micah Allen. Unmute.
Now I'm ready.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for allowing me to be a part of this stellar group of individuals. I am the Director of Sales at the Miami Beach Convention Center. I'm new to Miami, started in January, Super Bowl in February, virus in March.
Oh, no.
I am finding my way around in the most unique ways. With that said, I am grateful to work on a team of folks that are focused on recovery, making certain our building is well, our staff is well. But sales is about generating revenue. So we are putting our thinking caps on. We're putting pen to paper to develop plans in order to accommodate the smaller pieces of business that might be coming our way in the coming months. We have rolled out a sales initiative to work with the hotels that are close by because we have the space. We got 1.4 million square feet of space. So for the facilities that might not be able to accommodate meeting requests, we have a plan that we are going to be bringing to the hotels and sending out electronically that offers an opportunity for those facilities who may not have space to get space that's close by, walking distance or a short ride to the facility. And of course, we'll partner with any of the other hotels that have space, but might need larger space. So we are, again, on the forefront of moving forward with some initiatives that should be productive for everybody. And as it relates to the clients that are already in place, as Sonia mentioned, we are in contact with our clients every week because, as my boss says, things are fluid. They are fluid. They change, if not daily, every other day. There's a change about one thing or another. So we're on top of being in touch with our clients, and we're ready to move forward and generating revenue and booking some business in the facility and assisting our colleagues in the industry.
Thank you, Micah. And obviously, Convention Center is not complete with a lovely center plate. Actually, on my last session, I complimented you, and I will continue to compliment you both because our center plate at our convention center, really, truly, it's top notch. If you have not been at one of their events and tasted their food, I tell you. Without further ado, Mr. Danny Medina.
Thank you, Sonia, and good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Wendy, first of all, for allowing me to be on this panel today. I am truly grateful for this opportunity as we look to reopen our beautiful building. Like Micah said, we have the space, we have a plan, and we are prepared. And we are just very thrilled that we are able to do what we've done in the past couple of months to get us prepared. Our team hasn't stopped working. We have been preparing over 320,000 meals since April to homebound senior citizens in Miami-Dade County. We've have also been taking care of our guests in the facility currently through the National Guard and the Division of Emergency Management. So our team, our culinary team, our chef, poor chef hasn't taken a day off since the pandemic started. And I'll tell you what, that's just the tenacity of the team that we have here is that we are ready for you. We have the space and we're prepared. Steve is a tremendous visionary in the culinary community. Mr. Hospitality himself has definitely helped us keep in line with our vision throughout this time. So I can't thank you enough, as well as having you not only as a partner, as a friend, most of all. So thank you, Steve, as well during this time as we do it. And I don't want to take up too much time, because I'll tell you what, if you haven't met Steve before, this guy can talk a cat off a fish truck. So Mr. Haas, number one, sir. But thank you, Sonia.
Thank you,
It will be.
Dan. Steve, thank you so much. I know you're about to speak, but let me just give a quick intro. Yes, Danny, you're right. Everybody loves Steve. Everybody knows Steve, the godfather of Miami Spice. I know we kicked off Miami Spice even earlier this year, so hopefully everyone, our residents in the community, are starting to enjoy, starting to little by little go out and enjoy the Miami Spice that we know we kicked it off earlier due to the pandemic. And former chair of our bureau, continue to be extremely supportive to what we do on a daily basis. Mr. Stephen Haas.
Hi guys, I'm Steve Haas, obviously, and I am the executive director for Centerplate here at the Miami Beach Convention Center. You asked what are those 3 points, the 3 things that we're working on. First of all, Danny, thank you so much for that introduction. I hope somebody's recording this. I am right now currently on 8 task force for the recovery program for Dade County. And, it's so important for us to be involved in our community, especially as we're trying to fill the convention center. We have to make sure that everything outside of this convention center is ready to go, is adhering to all the rules and regulations, especially the hotels and the restaurant industry. So I've been incredibly involved, helping writing the rules and regulations for the reopening of our city. And so far, so good. We have come a long way. Sonia, you mentioned Miami Spice. For those that don't know the program, at this moment, it's actually considered one of the most successful restaurant programs in America. It's normally a program that runs August and September, but because of the reopening of our city, we decided to launch some of our programs through the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau with Bill Talbot, Rolando, and everybody, Sonia, and the entire team, because this would help stimulate the economy as fast as possible. People believe in our program. We have literally last year, I think it was 3 or 4 million hits on our website just for Miami Spice. So it's getting people out, it's getting the economy stimulated, and we're moving faster. The other thing I'm trying to achieve is restoring confidence, bringing confidence back into everybody's lives, into, when they come make a decision, should we come to Miami? Should we come out? Should we get on a plane? All of that is about restoring confidence back into all the individuals that we're all concerned, and then it's our job to get everybody on point. And as one of you said, we are your, I think it was Micah, we are your social distancing venue. We have 1.4 million square feet. We have 84 meeting rooms. We have 5 ballrooms, and we have the halls. So, when it comes to social distancing, we can offer more than almost everybody else. So the goal, and one of the things I will be talking about, if you ask me again to speak, is I want to talk about the things I'm trying to accomplish with Micah and our team to what we can do in the meantime at the convention center. But it's really great to be here, guys, and I thank you for being part of this.
Thank you, Sonia, and thank you, everybody. I did want to give a shout out to our dear friend, Freddie Peterson, the general manager of the Miami Beach Convention Center. I know you're there, Freddie, and you've got an amazing team. You know that. Thank you. So,
he's also phenomenal.
So I'd like to, Colleen, we've seen, you were last week on another one of our webinars. Happy to see you again. You have a beautiful backdrop. And would you like to share with everybody what you're doing and your title as well?
So I'm Colleen Diaz, Director of Sales and Events at the Hyatt Regency Miami, connected with the James L. Knight Convention Center. So just like the large convention center, I've had the opportunity to have a few small hotels reach out to me as well, wanting to partner so they can keep their business coming in and do the social distancing. Another big implement that we needed to do was to get into the sales manager's hands so they can send out to our customers so they feel comfortable. So the last couple of weeks, we have developed videos that walk you through the front of the house, back of the house, and also our kitchen prep that we're doing to keep customers safe and to make them feel very comfortable coming back. So that's been our biggest push. So as you know, Sonia, customers are asking what better than to give them a video. And, you know, kudos to the CVB. When I started doing the virtual tour, they jumped right on it and helped me. And we're finishing that up and should have it into our sales manager's hands. And it focuses on our front desk, our sanitizing stations, and the different things that we're doing to help people want to say, okay, these people have it together. Let's get back to Miami, because I know people want to travel.
Thank you so much, Colleen. And Mark, next.
Well, I'm going to echo what Micah, Danny, and Stephen have said. Size does matter, and I'm happy to tell you we are the second largest convention center in Dade County, the Miami Airport Convention Center. This, of course, is adjacent and connected to the DoubleTree. So as a Hilton brand, there are many standards that we're rolling out, as all of our Hilton brands are doing, and the DoubleTree is no different. So we've reached out to many of our groups, past and in the future, to hold on, to shift them a little bit if we need to, with many of the brand standards that we've now implemented. But the most important and exciting part of my day this last few days is Ileana from the Convention Bureau sent me a lead last week. We booked it on Friday, and I picked up the client Saturday morning from the airport and brought him to the DoubleTree Mac. Their staff are beginning on the conference center area of building all the rooms. We've put down many, many different things that they wanted that most groups don't normally want. But because of this unique situation with the virus, we're going above and beyond. And whatever the client wants, this incidentally is a corporate global client. So they're looking all around the world at what other places are doing and wanting to implement those things. And we're able to do them right away. So their big meeting starts next week, and we're very, very happy to have them. And kudos to Ileana at the Bureau for sending it our way.
That's wonderful. And by the way, give a big hug to Robert, okay, at DoubleTree Mac. And you have those cookies still, right? You have the cookies.
We sent out videos to a lot of our clients. The cookies were in the oven.
So now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Craig First, President and CEO of AAA Flag and Banner. Thanks for being here with us.
Thanks, Wendy, and thanks everybody. So yes, I'm Craig First, President, CEO of AAA Flag and Banner. We're typically a graphics company, and we provide visual solutions for sporting events, entertainment, corporate events all across the country. But due to the pandemic, we've had to pivot quite a bit. Like everybody else, our business, our standard business has evaporated, and we've had to reinvent how we can help others. And so I want to share my screen. You know, we're a visual solutions company, so I have some visuals to share here. And so let me get to the top of this. The top 3 things that we're doing right now to really help provide resources and support to our clients is what we call a back to work evaluation. And in this back to work evaluation, we move through the various phases of reopening. Many businesses are struggling to comprehend all the OSHA and the CDC recommendations that have been thrown around and how that relates to safety signage and social distancing. But beyond just the compliance recommendations, businesses are relying on us to help them really provide a safe and a comfortable environment for their staff and customers as people return. And so I wanted to just quickly walk through sort of a few things that we're doing right now to help do that. And first, we assess the current space, floor plans, and the configuration, and then we send our team of OSHA certified experts, and we do a full site survey, including taking measurements, photos. We meet with leadership. We discuss all the safety guidelines and standards for that particular place of business. Then we collaborate. We internally and with the client, and then we provide a floor plan with some workspace recommendations. We design all the needed safety protocol and wayfinding signage. We handle the custom fabrication of safety barriers, films, and graphics for high traffic areas. Lastly, we activate. We send our teams of professionals out after we produce the graphics and safety protective equipment, and we come on site and apply them as we all agreed upon. So not just though do we do the production and installation, but as this evolves, as this pandemic evolves, there's going to be changes in the safety protocols, and it's pretty fair to assume today that whatever is the new normal is going to be a bit different in 3 to 6 months or 12 months from now. So what our plan is to kind of stick by your side, and as things evolve, we help to create the appropriate environment for your spaces. So let me, now that I've kind of shared with you a little bit about what the back to work evaluation looks like, you could see some products from plexi shields to antimicrobial films, floor decals, wayfinding signage, elevator graphics, social distancing graphics, and then rolling germ shields. Here's an example of how we go into your space. You can see at the legend here below what the different symbols mean, whether it be a floor decal, a plexi divider around a desk, some just general informational signage in strategic places. And one of the new popular things we've been working on is this antimicrobial film, which I'll get to in just a moment. With the plexi germ shields, we have the ability to custom manufacture shields for nearly any environment and configuration, whether it's a tabletop or a countertop shield, or even as you're looking at a 3 foot wide by 6 foot tall and larger rolling germ shield. And one of the things that we can do on these germ shields is place graphics on them for branding, for messaging, for privacy, for whatever it is that you're seeking. Another product that we're working on is these Safe Touch antimicrobial films. This is an interesting product that we came across in our search to help people solve their problems on how to reopen and make it safe. So we found this film that has silver in it, and it's used in hospitals and surgery rooms across the world and other places that require clean rooms. What the product does is it's a printable adhesive film, and it's it's manufactured with antimicrobial protection. So the film is so powerful that it kills 99.9% of germs and bacteria that come into contact with the surface, in its surface. It can be installed in nearly any high touch area or business workspace, such as counters, tables, armrests, touch screens, door handles, and frankly, really anywhere where cleanliness and hygiene is a major concern. The film is very durable, can be cleaned repeatedly, and it will never lose its antimicrobial protection. So these days, with this new normal means that we have to ensure that not only our staff and our customers feel safe and comfortable. This film, one of the things we like to do is actually print something on it so people know that there's something on the surface that is actually protecting them. You can see in this picture, it's used in restaurant environments, door handles, stairways, rails, conference rooms, all kinds of different environments. So we think this is a great product that not only really does help keep it safer, but lets your clients know that you're helping to protect them as well. And then of course, lastly, our third kind of product that I want to highlight here is our social distancing graphics. And I'm sure everyone has seen these around, whether you're at a supermarket or a doctor's office or wherever you may be going. Most businesses are well aware of the need for the floor decals to maintain the safe social distancing among their customers. However, now that floor decals are likely to be going, be a part of our new normal for the foreseeable future, we're helping businesses transition from using masking tape or some other generic short-term solution to a custom printed, more attractive and durable decal. These decals can be printed at any shape and size and installed on many different floor surfaces. And at this size, typically you can have your team do them yourself. And of course, our team is capable of coming out and helping to apply those as well. And those are a few ideas and things that we're doing to help people right now open back up and be compliant.
Thank you so much, Craig. That was great. I'd like you to do, that would be fun in your, Sonia, at the CVB, where you all have lunch, right? That would be cool. Bill?
Reception counters
Great.
at hotels.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives me great pleasure to now introduce Richard Curran, CEO and President of Expo Convention Contractors. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for inviting me, Wendy. And actually, to pivot right off of Craig, what we do is we also do graphics, but our real focus is exhibitions and events and trade shows and building them and everything that encompasses, the signage involved, but also the actual fabrication of the displays. And due to the times that we're doing something similar where we're helping businesses reopen, and we have a lot of the similar floor sticker items. But one of the things that we've been doing is we've been reaching out to businesses to create an actual custom solution that will actually fit their design and decor of their current actual business of all the design. So we worked on quite a few places in Wynwood, like a lot of the really cool hip places that have a high-end design, where we've been able to custom fit the guards and the plastic and also graphics and floors. So actually, yeah, so if I could share, I just want to show some of the solutions as well to piggyback off of that. So what we've been doing is, on a similar task, we've been trying to help the businesses reopen, but what has been really neat is some of the ones like, as you look here, where we've really taken the actual layout of the room, sent our designers in to match. So as you can see, we have sneeze guards and protective barriers that are really built right into the existing custom displays and the look and the feel. So again, that's one of the first steps for our efforts to help businesses get back to work, all the restaurants and whatnot. So some of the other steps that we've been taking is, as we prepare to reopen and get back to what we love to do, trade shows, events, and conventions, is we've been really focusing on our training and our certifications, because we need to be ready to jump on it as we get back. And one of the things, the buzzword in the industry has been GBAC, Global Biorisk Advisory Council, and our partners at the Convention Center, which we've been working with Mike and the team on the task force for reopening to make sure that we have all the protocols covered and all the necessary things in place to get a safe reopening for not just the employees, but the attendees and everybody that's headed that way. So Expo got our GBAC certification in cleaning. So that way, once we do reopen, we're certified to clean up to the standards of the GBAC. And some of the other new protocols that we're putting in place and some of the things that everyone wants to know, okay, what are you going to do to make it safer once we return? And that's the big question. And just to go on touch on a few of the subjects is we're working with our customers for contactless solutions, more technology, less touching, less interaction. So we're going to see a lot more of self-registrations where you're either skewing QR codes, or everything is just literally QR codes on your phone where you're checking in. We're doing a lot of the barriers for when we do have to have people that are working and coming in contact with customers. And also just our exhibitor communication. When we're producing an event, we're typically at the back of a trade show, you'd see the big service center and the lines and everybody trying to get what they need on site. So we are going to drastically reduce that as touch points, and we're going to have lots more virtual communication with customers and a lot more people on site. So right now we're gearing up for that, being able to keep the highest level of service, but with the least amount of contact. And then as people want to know, well, what about the surfaces and what about the things that we're bringing in? Because as we take over the convention center for one of our clients, it's an empty shell, so we have to bring in everything, and then we actually have to build it up. So as we go and we in advance at the warehouse start preparing materials, what we're doing is we're doing all of our fogging and our electrostatic disinfectant foggers on our equipment here. We also trap freight for the event, so what we're doing is we're condensing all of the shipments together, and we're at fogging trailers, so that way everything gets disinfected before it even leaves our site. And then as we arrive to the convention center, we also, if there's any shipments on site, we're going to be disinfecting on site for spray down and wipe down. So these are all the things that we're putting in place right now and we're training on. And then once everything is set up, we have protocols to have constant disinfecting of everything. We have counters, we have furniture, we have equipment, we have nightly disinfectant. So all of those things are what's going to take in place right now and training, and what we are preparing for once we do get things reopened.
Sounds good. I think all of you provided excellent update and things that we never did before, right? Obviously, we're adapting to the new normal, some of the safety guidelines, and at the end of the day is really building that confidence, like Steve mentioned earlier. All the clients want to know exactly what you're doing to make sure that we're all safe and protected. So thank you all for your feedback. I think we learned a lot so far, and perhaps Wendy, should we go ahead and start some of the questions that we have for our panel and then open up for the floor? Okay. I'm going to start with our Miami Beach Convention Center partners. As you know, I'm very passionate about our city, and I work with both of you on a daily basis and your team in bringing our conventions to the city, and knowing that our newly renovated convention center is currently on the ACF, Alternative Care Facility. And obviously we have already hosted some of the top technology medical shows already, and also a renowned art show, Art Basel. I know everybody, all the customers, all the attendees, and they're curious as to what should we expect to see and experience once the building reopen and once our business reopen. Perhaps you could share that with us, Michael or Micah.
Thanks, Sonia. The first three things that I want to say is that our employees will be well trained for the new normal. once we start hosting events again. As Rich mentioned, we are preparing to move forward with the GBAC program, the Global Biorisk Advisory Council, to ensure that we exceed expectations when it comes to cleaning and disinfectant. And we will ensure that all of our clients are comfortable at our venue from a cleaning and disinfectant standpoint. I mentioned earlier that we created a task force a while back to kind of tackle the pandemic that's in front of us. I co-chair the task force with Steve Ciancio, who is the assistant GM with Centerplate. And our vision was to create a phased recovery plan. We were able to get that phased recovery plan out this past Monday to everyone, and it outlines everything that we are looking to implement in the venue. We then created subcommittees within that plan, and those subcommittees have been implemented so that we can ensure that every single step of that phase recovery plan is taking has the attention that it needs, and that we're moving forward in a great way. We've developed and created check-in procedures, floor plans, which Rich is helping us lead on that subcommittee. We've worked on our loading dock protocols and procedures. Also, we've designated 2 of our staff members, one from Centerplate and one from the Miami Beach Convention Center Spectra team, as our health ambassadors. So everything in our recovery plan, once everything is implemented, they will be tasked with ensuring that on a day-to-day basis, all departments, all clients, all partners follow the recovery plan. We also adopted the Miami Beach Standard. So all of our staff members will be tested for COVID on a monthly basis. We will also implement health and temperature screenings every day once they enter the venue, and as well as health screenings, and that's a set of questions that will be answered. We've gone through additional training, and we'll continue to go through training. We had the health department in a few months ago, and we went through the PPE training. We've gone through a few cleaning and disinfectant trainings as well. And then a little bit more about the GBAC program. It really looks at your cleaning and disinfectant procedures. So we're in the first step of that process, but we're confident at the end, and once we are certified, that the venue will definitely exceed expectations when it comes to cleaning and disinfectant. So as you can see, the Miami Beach Convention Center is busy at work. And not only do we have 1.4 million square feet of space, but our staff will be well prepared to host events when the time comes.
Thank you, Michael. I know yourself, your team, and the task force member have been working really hard, because I know many of my clients push for that document. So thank you for pushing it out this week. As social distancing continue to be part of the protocol, and knowing that our Miami Beach Convention Center has amazing outdoor space and beautiful weather, right? I know the outdoor spaces will be a very top demands for our customers. What are you guys doing differently to make sure that you could cater that needs that perhaps pertain to both the center and Centerplate?
Really working closely with our partners and our clients in regards to adding signage, the social distancing signage. I think Craig and Rich showed some really good examples of what's out there right now. We're really looking at that and looking to implement that as we move forward. Obviously, we won't be able to be in large crowds in our public spaces, so queuing lines and having procedures in place when it comes to our pre-function space will be critical and are starting to develop as we speak. Separating, constant flow versus standing in a kiosk line or portable for food and beverage, so using stanchions to do that as well. Additional staffing to manage those lines. We're also looking at additional staff and elevators and escalators possibly, so that we can manage the individuals in one elevator, and also touch points. Touch points are very critical in our plan, trying to minimize those touch points. A lot of venues, a lot of arenas and the stadiums that you see have elevator operators, escalator operators, and those individuals are touching the buttons as opposed to hundreds of people throughout the day touching those buttons. So those are the kind of things that we're putting in place. Creating floor plans. Rich is a part of our subcommittee when it comes to creating floor plans. He's working closely with our event managers and our director of events and guest services to see what those look like from a social distancing and flow standpoint. And we also are working closely with the clients to ensure that they provide us with their safety plan, so that not only is our safety plan developed, but they have a safety plan that meshes with ours, because ours is based on the CDC and federal, state, and local guidelines.
Great. Sounds good.
You want me to go next? Now, are we ready? Okay. Steve and Danny, let's talk about our partnering with our hotels, how you're partnering with the hotels. I know Steve and I have had, I think we've been friends for what, the last 100 years, right, together. And I really, we were kind of brainstorming last week on how we can help the galas, the large retained galas. They may not be as big, but obviously you have the space, and also meetings too that can no longer be accommodated right now under the 50% capacity in the hotels, how you can help with that too, according to the new guidelines. So let's talk.
I guess I'll talk, Danny. By the way, Wendy, it's 104 years since we've known each other. Actually, Wendy and I actually worked together 30 years ago, which just seems like yesterday, Wendy. Really,
I was only 10.
I was 5. Anyway, it does seem like a long time ago, you know, and it's amazing. You know, one of the things Wendy and I have said through the years is, how do we get here? And Wendy, how do we get here is the big question right now, because I just don't know how we got to this point and how we're dealing with everything, but we are. You know, with every nightmare that we have to deal with, there's always opportunity. And we are really looking at the big picture. I'm going to point something out that I think is really important for us as a team here at the convention center. There are two companies that actually operate basically the convention center, which is Spectra and Centerplate. But I want you to know that there is no separate teams in this building. And that's one of the things why we're trying to get things accomplished, and things are moving very fast, because I don't think anybody feels like they're on a separate team. It's just one team trying to achieve the same goals. And I really don't know, like, we don't say, oh, well, that's Spectra or that's Centerplate. It really doesn't work that way. So that's one of the great things about this building, is it's the one team. We are trying to achieve, now I'm sitting with Danny, with Freddie, with Micah, Sabrina, Maria, trying to create all kinds of programs so we can stimulate the building, even not using the halls at this moment. I'm going to ask Colleen and Mark to close their ears, because I'm going to give a lot of ideas out that I don't want them to hear. I'm kidding, guys.
And have my attention.
But, you know, because we have such a large space to work with, and we have separate entrances to work with, we have the ability to even bringing in small groups of people. Right now, we're not allowed to go over the 50 mark, as everybody knows, but we certainly can bring in smaller groups. We have 84 meeting rooms to work with. We have 5 ballrooms to work with. We have 200,000 square feet of just pre-function space. And as one of you, I think it was Sonia who mentioned the outdoor space. We are privileged to have a tremendous amount of outdoor space. We have the Collins Canal Park. We have Pride Park. We have the Botanical Gardens. We have a balcony off the Grand Ballroom that can accommodate 300 people. And we have a balcony on the Sunset Ballroom that can accommodate 1,500 people. So just the outside space alone is all usable space that I'm really looking forward to sell at this moment. We are putting together packages and to get the attention of so many organizations, because there is still a need for space. You know, we're always thinking, and I'm sure Colleen and Mark are thinking the same thing, you know, you have big spaces to work with, but there's still small spaces. I know the Hyatt Regency has several meeting rooms. I know that the Expo Center, Mark, that doesn't really have several meeting rooms, but you have a few, and you still have the DoubleTree Hotel to work with. But we're creating packages, inclusive packages. Mike and I have put a lot of work into these exclusive packages, including everything from, you know, from meals and coffee breaks, which will be manned today instead of being just, you know, rolled in anymore. We will include AV, we'll include the space, we'll include everything for a price per person. So if we had a group of 20, 30, 40, 50 people, we're actually that opportunity for you as well. You know, Wendy and I have been having a lot of conversations about how to get this in here, how to get the smaller groups in here. You know, I'm going after even things like going to Bill Talbot. Bill and I talked this morning about allowing us to use his newsletter, and I greatly appreciate it because he said yes without even hesitation. So we can let the entire county know what we're trying to achieve. We're going after the local DMCs. We're going after the local party planners. We're going to do a sales blitz on Brickell Avenue and expose ourselves to the law firms, to the insurance companies, to the real estate companies, to the companies that are doing team building, and even hotels and restaurants. They're all getting ready to open up. They don't have space. Many of them don't have a place to have their training. So we're just trying to think of all different ways to fill in this building, even though there is a COVID hospital in operation and testing on one side of the building. We're blessed to have another entrance, which has nothing to do with that side of the building. So we are still able to function with smaller groups, and we're really looking forward into how we're going to get them into the building.
Very exciting and
It is exciting.
very lucky to have that, you know, that option, those options. It's incredible to even think about it.
Right? There's a lot of options.
So, Danny, do you want to add anything or?
No, Steve, from our sales strategy, definitely Steve touched base on some good points. You know, to reinforce, we have that space. You know, we have a plan. We are prepared. You know, the only thing that we could think about, you know, we are living in a global pandemic right now. And so there's so many things being thrown out there. You know, what the rules we know that are today and right now, you know, at 4:01 p.m., it may be different. And so we have to be prepared to combat those things. And so when we make plans in our operations to take care of any group that comes in, we have to be able to be nimble and flexible. So a lot of the things that I talk with the team is for some football fans out there, which I very, very, very miss. It's the audibles. It's all audibles all day long in the operation, both from in the kitchens to the front of house. That the teams have to just be able to be flexible enough. And I think we all have that in our DNA as hospitality professionals. So it does take a lot to get to that point. And every day we're talking, it seems like the same thing ad nauseum, but it's super important that we're connected right now. And we're connected not only with ourselves, but also with our customers because we're in it together, not just on our own. And that's what we want to reinforce too when we start getting into the planning processes again, which many of us are. It's about that, how do we work together and solve problems together more than ever, and we're prepared to do so. And with the great partners, not only Spectra and our company, the other partners at our venue with Smart City, Everlast Production, First Class Valet, it really is all of us getting together. And then you do that outreach a little bit as well and getting prepared, like Rich over at Expo, or Joni over at, excuse me, with the electrical contractors. So it does take a group of people, not just individuals, but it is a collective effort. And that's the main thing that we've been focusing on over these past couple months, is putting ourselves together to be prepared for that.
Right.
That's great. Thank you so much. So Craig and Richard, you've got clients all over the country. Knowing a lot of events obviously have canceled, but just with your contacts, how can you help Colleen and Mark, book some business with their convention centers?
You want to go first, or? All right. Well, one of the things that I've seen kind of nationally and even globally, I'm on similar calls like this and Zooms, different meetings, different groups. And what I'm seeing a lot more is that this is a time for less competition and more collaboration. And a lot of that has to do with, we keep saying this is nothing like we've ever seen before. This is nothing like we ever experienced. But one of the things that we do in this industry specifically is we really support each other. I mean, it's amazing how we see, if one city is opening up, going to be earlier than the other, everybody lets each other know, hey, this market is going to open. This market is putting out their rules and regs and their dates and their timelines. So, I mean, the collaboration has been amazing. And I definitely see that, as the community itself between IAEE, IAVM, these are, the other alphabet soups of our industry, on a national level, there's lots of information sharing and customers, even, competing customers supporting each other, just because, I mean, we know that we want our industry to persevere. So it's, I've been seeing a lot of that, and there's definitely opportunity there, just specifically because of that. And we know that Florida seems to be a little more on the aggressive side with reopening because of our spacing and our ability to manage the cases and our decline so fast that we're seeing that across the state. Our counties are a little behind, but then we are seeing, as Orange County Convention Center in Orlando has already got events scheduled coming up very short. We have up in Jacksonville, has been quite a few events lately. So as we see customers that might be on the cusp of whether or not a market might be reopening, not in time, people are sharing that information saying, hey, we have a partner in this city, or we have a friend in this city that has a property that would fit you well. So I mean, definitely seen a lot of that information sharing. Craig, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I like what you said, Rich, and I fully agree with you. I can't tell you how many of our competition I've been on the phone with over the past month or so, and the amount of collaboration that we're all kind of reaching for straws and ideas to survive and to help each other survive, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. But what I would share is, what I think personally, what we can do to kind of throw in our support is just like Rich speaks to so many different groups on a regular basis that are, and we're constantly having to be in contact with them to learn what are their plans, what are they thinking, where are they going, what are they doing. After being on a call like this, I certainly have some great ideas of some spaces that are available in South Florida that we can certainly help to guide and share and suggest with. I also was thinking after this meeting, and once I get the link to the recording, that personally I'm going to post on our social media outlets and share that South Florida is open for business. There's some places that are ready to host your events, and so those are the little things I think that we all could kind of do, to be honest with you. And every bit of information that keeps getting passed forward is going to help the greater of us all.
Right.
And one more thing I want to add to that, on a positive outlook for facilities and venues and hotels, is just earlier this week I was on a call and Bellagio had opened up last weekend in Vegas, and they were hopefully going to be in the 30 to 40% capacity, and they exceeded 50. So we know that the market's out there. People want to get out and about, and people want to do it safely, and it's our responsibility to make everything safe. But people are willing to get out and about and are, you know, just really hungering for some normalcy. So that was definitely positive news over the past weekend.
Great. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Craig. I have a question that some of you might not know, but I think this question has been lingering in clients' mind, in my mind. I know we're all doing great things to follow the safety guidelines. I know a lot of the measures that you are implementing cost a lot of money, right? Additional sanitation, all those different protocols that we're implementing. I know a few of my clients asked, and also during this session, a few of the participants also asked, how are you, this is pertaining to the building and hotels, if you can add, how are you addressing the additional costs? Is that going to be something that the client should be penalized? What are we doing? Mike, perhaps you could start.
Sure. I think most of our new normal would be more policies and procedure related. We're taking a look at everything to see if it's meeting or exceeding expectation. For instance, the GBAC program. From a cleaning and disinfectant standpoint, we're looking to purchase foggers for those meeting rooms and the quick changeovers, so that we don't have to clean and then disinfect by hand. We can do it by fogging the rooms, but that would be a venue purchase that we would have overall. Also signage, we would handle that from a pre-function space standpoint, but we will require all of the clients to provide their safety plan, which would include their housekeeping company providing, you know, their best practices and what they are implementing to prepare for the new normal, as well as their signage plan as well. But from a venue standpoint, I don't see much additional cost there.
Okay. I don't know if Mark or Colleen would like to add anything, if you have anything to add.
I can only speak for the corporate group that we have in-house. There was only a few things additional that they asked for, which was floor covering. And that is something they are paying for. We went out and got it. And we provided the material, provided the labor to put it down. And so that is an extra cost that we are passing along to the client. Obviously, they knew it well in advance. And if there were other certain things that they wanted for this specific meeting, if we didn't have it on property or in the building, we would let them know, we need to get it for you. There will be a charge for that. We haven't had any pushback from this particular client of needing to get additional things that we didn't already have in-house.
Right. Thank you.
And Sonia, I would also add that there's no one size fits all.
Right.
All of our events are different. So it would be a case-by-case basis. I know that I've spoken with several clients over the last 7 days, and I would encourage, if anyone has any questions in regards to cost, to really go through our plan, and then we can sit down and discuss it further on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, thank you.
And Sonia, there has been a sentiment around clients nationally and globally that they understand going into this, and they are part of we are all in this together. So they all know going into it, there are going to be additional costs that every single person is going to endure, including customers. So I think that the sentiment out there is that it's not just nobody I've come across has had a not my problem attitude about it.
Great, thank you. That's good to know. And I mentioned earlier, I shared with our panelists earlier that this week, you know, we've been in many webinars, myself, my team, and optimism, of course, you know, at first sight inspection, we mentioned face-to-face meeting would never be replaced by virtual meeting. And with that, I want to gear a question to Rich. I know you have been past president of ESCA, the Exhibition Service and Contractor Association. I would love to hear from your peers, your leaders. What are their thoughts in terms of the future of exhibitions?
Well, for the background on ESCA, Exhibition Service Contractors Association, is a group of service providers like Expo that we work with trade shows and events between hotels, convention centers nationally. And what we do is there's a lot of collaboration there. And and one of the good things is we also work with other organizations. So IAVM is International Association of Venue Managers. So the convention center will have representatives in a group like that. And then you have the IAEE, which is International Association of Exhibitions and Events, and that's the clients. So the one of the things that actually just got published this week was the safety guidelines. I'll hold this up, the ESCA Health and Safety Guidance for the exhibition industry. And this document was actually a collaborative effort between these organizations. IAEE put out their own, and GBAC, IAVM has been working closely with GBAC throughout their whole thing on their recommendations. And the collaboration in the industry is actually how these documents got developed. And later, when I can actually give these links to you, so when you publish the link for this this playback, it could be there available. But what's really great is that the guidance for how between the client, the venue, the contractors, and everybody alike, it's a guidance. But we all know that, you know, legislation, local legislation, is the be all end all. But this week has been really one of the most active earlier this week with that, because we actually have seen publicized capacities. And that's been the biggest thing, is like everybody wants to know, okay, what's my floor plan and what's my event going to look like when we implement COVID-19 safety regulation. And what I'm seeing across the board from all of these is a lot of capacity control over space control. And what that is that, like, you can put booths side by side, a 10 by 10 booth next to a 10 by 10, because if you're limiting the amount of people in the room, then everyone has enough social distance. And we're also getting to the point where we have, like we talked about, Mike said that they're going to require signage everywhere. Well, yeah, it's going to be on the responsibility of the people to keep their social distance, keep their gloves, their mask, and all their PPE, and washing their hands. It's going to get down. Sure, there will be some need for some traffic flow and directional, like safety methods, like one direction, like we've seen at the grocery stores. That helps a lot too. But as we refine what those safety precautions will be, a lot of it's going to come out the capacities. And you can find this information here that will best fit your event and your group. And my advice would be, go to the documents, see how yours fits, get with your venue, get with your event location that you're going to work with. So that way together you can bring it to your local legislation to get it passed, to get it safe. Like Steve has said, he'd been working with the whole team on getting everything reopened. Well, right now, conventions and exhibitions are under a mass gathering type of classification. And we know that that's a no-go. But we don't really fall into the mass gathering in that, because we have a very professional environment where we have very controllable flow of people. Right. And social distancing at the convention center is very capable. Like we talk about, when you have 100,000 square foot room, if you put 3,000 people in there, everyone's got a lot of space. And 3,000 sounds like a lot, but it's not when you're in 100,000. So these are the things that we've been working with as an industry and through ESCA. And again, this guideline is really great to get together, to come up with a plan, work with your venue, and then pass it so that way the legislation can say, you know what, your event is going to be safe. I see what you're doing. You're going to be good to go, and get those green lights. And but again, each region, you got to go region by region, but at least the overall guidelines are going to be very, very helpful from just published this week.
Great. Wendy.
That's great. Yeah. Do you think we have time for our surprise question?
Sure.
So thank you all again. So I want you all to close your eyes. Okay. And think about if you could go on vacation tomorrow, anywhere in the world, where would you go? Let's start with Sonia.
Oh, I didn't close my eyes. Can I say I want to be here in Miami? I love it so much.
Of course, of course. Richard?
Well, you know, I live in Broward, and I would love to be spending time at the Fountain Blue on Miami Beach.
Good. That's nice. Craig?
So I'm from California, and I've been stuck in California for the past few months, and I cannot wait to get to my second home, which is Miami Beach.
Very. This could be a commercial, Bill. Right. Michael?
I think I'm the same. It doesn't get any better than Miami Beach here. Beautiful waters and beautiful culture here. Definitely.
Great. Micah?
Tough decision. Here's why. New Orleans is home for me. I'd love to go back to see my family and friends. Nothing beats a crawfish boil and an ice cold Heineken. But I'm new to Miami, and I've only eaten at maybe 10 restaurants since I've been here. So I'd stay with a staycation at the Fountain Blue and walk around and just eat somewhere different every day.
Yeah.
That's great. Sounds great. Danny?
Life is better at the beach. I can't, you know, Miami Beach is a place.
Mark?
Well, I was going to say Bora Bora. That's my favorite place, but that would be continuing the social distancing thing. So I live in Aventura, so I'm happy to walk around the circle and be by the beautiful intercoastal water. I love where I live.
That's wonderful. Steve?
Well, you said anywhere in the world, didn't you? I've been blessed to travel around the world. I've touched every continent, and I would say if I had a choice to be anywhere at this moment, it would be the Greek islands.
Oh, we can help
I'd
you
love
with
to-
that.
But where I live now, I have to say, feels pretty close. And every time I go over any of the causeways to Miami Beach through my entire life, I have always said, this is one of the best places on earth.
Absolutely. Colleen?
I miss getting on a plane. I miss Miami Airport. So I would have to say, I want to get on a
I never
plane.
heard anybody say they miss Miami Airport.
Been a tough 90 days. No, I really want to travel. I'm not afraid of getting on a plane. I'm not afraid of going any place. I want to go to our Hyatt in the Bahamas and go to the swim up bar and get a frozen pina colada with a Myers float. That's in my mind.
Yay.
That sounds wonderful. That sounds fabulous. So
You actually just put that into everyone's mind.
what a great conversation, right? Oh my God. Thank you all so much. Sonia, I hope you're pleased. I'm sure you are. I think it was really exciting. And I think that you having your site expansion, live site inspection, got everybody really excited too. And the audience was amazing. So we really thank you all, and look forward to seeing all of you in person and having a cocktail, having whatever it is you want to eat, we'll eat it, right? I'm just really anxious to get together with all of you. Thank you so much. Anything you'd like to add, Sonia?
I want to thank you, Wendy, for putting this together and inviting me over. And I know we didn't have time to address individual questions. I tried my best to answer them via typing. But if you guys have any specific questions, whatever, you guys know how to reach me. Send me an email, call me. I'm here for you guys. So thank you, and can't wait for everything to reopen and get back to business as usual.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.